combinations, and grind. That inside work could be the X factor. Beyond styles, there's the physical factor. Eubank Jr. is naturally bigger. Racing post, he's got more experience at middleweight and super middleweight, and his chin is proven. Racing post, meanwhile, Benn, though powerful, is shorter and has to navigate a reach disadvantage. Boxing-data.com, that size difference played a role in their first fight, and people in the boxing world expect it could be even more pronounced in a rematch. There's also stamina. Eubank has boxed more rounds on average than Benn. That kind of championship round composure could bite Benn late if he doesn't pace himself. DAZN, if Eubank can drag Benn into the deeper rounds and maintain volume, those late rounds might tilt the balance. But don't sleep on Benn's power. He's got real knockout ability. His KO percentage is around 60.8% for his record. DAZN +1, he's not just a pressure fighter. He can end things if he's sharp, especially if he catches Eubank with a clean combination. His style is dangerous when he's on the front foot, and if he can connect early, he could change the course of the fight. Emotionally, Benn has said he wants revenge. After the first fight, he admitted he hurt Eubank multiple times noticeably, but couldn't secure the finish. Bad left hook, that fire, that variation in mindset, if harnessed correctly, could be his greatest strength. He's younger, arguably hungrier, and motivated by legacy in a different way than just winning. On the other side, Eubank Jr.'s experience is not just physical, but psychological. He's fought big fights, he's seen ups and downs, and he knows how to win on big nights. He's used to handling pressure. And in that first fight, he demonstrated that when things got chaotic, he could settle, adapt, and impose his will. That's not something you learn overnight. There's also a tactical wrinkle: counterpunching. Some pros believe Benn could be vulnerable if he overcommits, especially if Eubank throws and feints, jabs, and then explodes when Benn comes in too aggressively. Boxing-data.com, if Eubank mixes power to the body and head, he could break Benn's rhythm and force him to respect his toolbox. Finally, we can't ignore the psychological legacy. For both men, this fight is not just about personal glory. Their father's rivalry, the generational narrative, the grudge. The commentators and analysts agree, this is more than sport. ESPN, that narrative could fuel their performance, but it could also be a burden. Benn must channel that anger, not let it cloud his technique. Eubank must use his poise and strategic maturity. Picking winners in a rematch of this magnitude isn't easy. Boxing pros are split, and many expect drama. So, who do the experts lean toward? And what are the most likely scenarios for how this rematch could play out? Let's break down the top predictions, the turning points, and the wild cards. Expert predictions. What the pros are saying. Late stop by Eubank Jr. Several analysts believe Eubank's path to victory could come through attrition. Based on his performance in the first fight, especially how he turned it into an inside war from round 4 onward, some expect him to wear Benn down physically. Boxing-data.com, as Benn starts to fatigue, Eubank may land more brutal body shots, mix head and body attacks, and lean on volume punching. If that happens, a stoppage in the middle to late rounds, 9 to 11, is a real possibility. That's the pick for quite a few. Eubank by late KO. Decision victory for Eubank Jr. For the more conservative experts, a repeat of the first fight's outcome is likely. Eubank wins on the cards. Given his jab dominance, he landed more jabs in every single round last time. Give me sport. If he remains patient, boxes smart, and avoids reckless exchanges, he could replicate his high output, high accuracy strategy and outwork Benn again. Benn upset by early pressure. Not everyone is down on Benn. Some pundits believe he's learned from his mistakes. After watching the first fight, Benn himself said he hurt Eubank multiple times but couldn't finish. Bad left hook in a rematch. He could be more measured. Use his first quarter explosiveness, lay combinations, go to the body, and try to force a stoppage early before Eubank locks in. If he executes that, Benn by KO is on the table. That's the kind of bold prediction that excites the crowd, and some pros are willing to make it. Benn wins a controversial decision. A few long-time boxing analysts warn about judging drama. Even though Eubank won unanimously the first time, many felt the fight was razor close. If Benn comes in sharper, uses better timing, and is more efficient. There's a scenario where he outlands or matches Eubank in key rounds and steals a tight decision. It would be a shock, but not an upset in the narrative sense, just a smart, tactical war. Wild card, draw, or unexpected finish. In a fight with so much at stake, some insiders throw out the wild cards. What if it's so even that the judges call it a draw? Or what if there's a cut, maybe a clash of heads? That changes everything. Some believe a late-round scramble could end controversially, or even a ref stoppage if the fight gets physical and messy. Given the rivalry, that would make for instant classic status. Turning points to watch in a rematch. Rounds 1 to 3. How Benn comes out matters. If he can overwhelm Eubank early with speed and combinations, he sets the tone. But if Eubank weathers the storm, establishes his jab, and avoids being reckless, he could dictate the next phase. Mid-fight pivot 4 to 8. This is where Eubank made his move in the first fight, turning the fight inside, increasing volume, and grinding Benn. If he repeats that game plan, those mid-rounds could decide everything. But if Benn counters with lateral movement or stays disciplined, he might disrupt Eubank's rhythm. Late rounds, 9 to 12. Stamina, heart, and ring generalship will be tested. Will Benn's youth and hunger carry him? Or will Eubank's experience and engine win out? Many experts believe the fight will be won or lost here. Either Eubank breaks Benn down, or Benn pulls something big out when it matters. Emotional edge, the legacy factor cannot be ignored. When both fighters hit adversity, who remains composed? Who uses the fire in their belly as fuel rather than distraction? The mental game could swing this fight more than the physical. Key risks for each fighter. For Eubank Jr. He must guard against overconfidence. He won the first fight, but if he underestimates Benn's adjustments, that could cost him. He needs to avoid getting reckless in exchanges. Benn has power, and if Eubank gets too wild, he may drop his guard. Stamina is a double-edged sword. While he's shown he can maintain output, if he expends too much in the mid-rounds, he could gas late, and younger legs could take advantage. For Conor Benn, he must not rush. Pundits warn that Benn's aggression could lead to him overcommitting and getting clipped by counters. He needs to be efficient, not just throw for the sake of it. Volume won't win unless his shots land. He must prepare for the inside war. Eubank's strength is grinding, close-range combinations. Benn has to be ready to defend and fight in tight quarters. Prediction summary. What the pros actually think. Putting together all the expert takes, Eubank Jr. is still the favorite, and with good reason. His volume, boxing IQ, experience, and ability to adapt mid-fight give him a tangible edge. The most likely scenario, according to many analysts, is Eubank winning by decision, a repeat of their first battle, but maybe with more clarity. However, for those who believe Benn has made the right adjustments, an early Benn flurry leading to a knockout is not out of the question. And then there are the more wild-card voices. Some think it could even end in a draw or throw up controversy. What this rematch means for both careers. For Chris Eubank Jr., another win over Benn would solidify his place as not just a legacy fighter, but a true standout. He's already shown he can adapt, grind, and perform under pressure. A second victory could put him in line for even bigger fights, or possibly a title shot in a major weight class. It's not just a win for him, it's a statement. For Conor Benn, this rematch is his redemption shot. He's young, full of heart, and clearly believes he can finish Eubank this time. A win would validate his claim to be one of boxing's next big stars. Plus, defeating someone of Eubank's caliber twice would give him serious leverage in the division. Even in losing, though, a competitive performance raises his stock. If he boxes smart, shows improvement, and stays dangerous, he could build toward other big fights. Final prediction, my call based on the pros. Putting together everything I've heard from experts, data, and fight breakdowns. Winner, Chris Eubank Jr. Method, late stoppage or decision. Why? His tactical adjustments, physical advantages, and ability to manage energy give him a strong late fight edge. But Benn's speed and heart make an early knockout possible, so it's not a guaranteed runaway. If I had to pick one outcome, I lean toward Eubank Jr. via 10th or 11th round TKO. He grinds Ben down, lands hurtful combinations, and forces a stoppage once Ben's guard drops or his legs slow. Why you should care for the viewer. Legacy clash. This isn't just a fight, it's family history. The names Eubank and Benn carry weight in boxing. This rematch brings generational drama. Tactical masterclass potential. Both fighters have shown they can adapt, and the mid-fight adjustments could decide everything. High stakes. For Benn, it's redemption. For Eubank, it's about cementing his dominance. Star power plus grit. You get speed, power, volume, heart, everything you want in a major boxing showdown. Alright, that's the breakdown of what boxing pros are predicting for the Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn rematch. If you're a fan of strategy, legacy fights, or pure boxing violence, this is the one to watch. What do you think will happen? Drop your prediction in the comments and let's debate. Subscribe Fight Shire for more of this kind of content.